Hi everybody, it's Lace, and this next video is going to go over printing books, printing flyers, the magic printing press, and things like that. In order to do that, I'm going to go to a bookseller, or book merchant. I happen to be in Exeter. I know there's one in Owl's Head. I'm sure there's others in the world. I'm just kind of close to Exeter right now. And you can see blank book, and I'm just going to grab about 20 of these because I need to do some work on the putt-putt golf course for the end of the world party, and I'm just going to grab some more paper for that, which I'm pretty much good on that. Not too expensive right now. However, as I mentioned in another video, they have been talking about getting things off of vendors. I don't know that paper and books are going to be affected, but you know, just putting that warning out there, it's quite possible that those may be craftable only, since sheet music is craftable. It's just something I'm kind of watching to see what happens. If not, you can just go buy it from a merchant, and there you go. And we're just kind of running out of here, and I will meet you back in Diamond Fields at the printing press. So we're back at the printing press here, and but before we go right into the printing press, let's talk about the legitimate uses and the shady uses of flyers and books. I use the books for events that I have in my particular player-owned town, and most people will use books. They'll use flyers. You can lay flyers on the ground, like if I've got a blank book place on the lot. I've got a blank sheet of paper. It lays on the ground. So you may see little pieces of paper laying on the ground. When you double click it, you can read it. It's blank, but you know, we're not going to do that. I'm just showing. So people will sometimes put little trinkets around their land, you know, maybe telling a detail or a story. A lot of people like to write their own lore stories. Good thing, like if you have a guild, even having a book in a specific place all the time with like a guild message of the day, or a guild history, a library of guild history and guild notes, and or even player own town notes, you know, stuff that people can interact with. These are some of the legitimate uses and excellent uses. One of the illegitimate uses that I've seen is people will make flyers and they'll put them up for sale on like the public vendors and stuff. It'll be how to make 10,000 gold an hour, and they'll charge you 1,000 gold for it. Guess what? That's how they're making 10,000 gold an hour. They're charging people like P.T. Barnum, sucker born every minute. You might want to avoid that, and I might get some hate from that, but yeah, if it's too good to be true, it's not true. So yeah, avoid those. But other people will put legitimate flyers up on the public vendors and stuff that'll say, visit so-and-so shop located here, and put the details inside the flyer. Now they're limited on the amount of characters that are going to display in a title, and therefore that's what's only going to show on the public auction house. So you need to be very concise and just say maybe armor at such and such, you know, town. When you're doing things like player events, at least this is something I like to do. I think it's a nice touch, and I think you'll find more and more people starting to do it, is I like to hand out a flyer, which is just a piece of paper. It's very limited in how many characters you can put in it, and it's usually just a welcome message and a brief thing about the event. If the event has a lot of moving pieces to it and stuff, I will then put it in a book. You're still limited by characters, so you're still going to have to really, you know, think about your words and stuff. But it's just something, it's a souvenir. Now, since we've been wiping and wiping, people don't have these. But, you know, it would be a nice souvenir. People go to events, they bring home a book from the event, or they bring home a flyer from the event. And books are going to display a little bit better on a bookshelf and stuff, and they say, these are all the things I've done in the world. And then somebody else that visits their house, or if it's a, you know, set of things that a guild's done, they can go and read the whole history of the guild and see all the things that they've done. I think this is an excellent role-playing aspect of the game, and this is why I like books and flyers so much, and why I use them in all my events. And I just want to encourage everybody to do the same. One other use at events and stuff is, let's say you do blank sheets of paper. Well, if I hit inventory and I open a blank sheet of paper and I can say write on it, and we'll just do 1 here and continue, and I can do a 1 here and publish this. So now I'm basically setting up a random number generator. So I do 50 of these, and 1 1 1 on this one, 2 2 2 2 2, and then I can hand them out. Now, of course, people, if you did it all the same way every time, I guess people could fudge the numbers and have a stack, and you'd end up with 2 people with the same number. I'm sure there's people who are going to try to game the system and stuff, so maybe it's 1 instead of 1, event something something that makes this, and this is all typing poorly, but hold on. 1 makes this unique because no one knew what I would put here. So that's how you can do like random number giveaways. Hand everybody a sheet of paper, call out a number, and they win, whatever prize you're having at your event. Now, some time ago, Themo Lock had done a great little just snapshot post in the forums about book publishing, and it showed that you could use things like bold, italics, and even color pickers to really give a beautiful presentation of your book or flyer. And it was using things like, it was like a bracket B, close bracket, the words, then a bracket /B, and close brackets, kind of like HTML coding. That might be over some people's heads, but anyway, it was start off, where you wanted to change the font or description or type of the text, and then the end. That appears to not be working now. I don't know if it's gone forever, but it was something apparently planned and did work at one point in the game. I don't know if it'll come back and stuff, since now we also have sheet music, and it's probably working off the same model, and they had maybe took that out in developing the sheet music. It could come back again, and I will post a link to his visual representation that kind of goes hand in hand with this tutorial. In case it ever does come back, where you could do colors and all this, and he had a great guide for that. It just doesn't appear to work now, because like if I type a bracket when I'm trying to type text in here, it just doesn't work. It doesn't actually. I'm hitting this key a bunch of times. It's not happening. Can I do like an HTML one? Yes, I can. I don't know that that's going to work. I haven't tested that, but it used to be a bracket. Let me check that out real quick, and I'll be right back. So back, and I put in, like real HTML code, if that was going to do bold, and it literally appears exactly how I typed it. So yeah, no, that doesn't work anymore, unfortunately. Again, I'll still link that, because if you like a very visual step-by-step representation, that's it. Another thing that apparently was happening at one point was text books that you'd created and stuff, they would be saved on your local drive, to where you could, like, let's say if I'd done it in, like, I don't know, R15, and I'd made a book, there'd be a copy of it there perhaps. Apparently that's been gone for a while, but I do want to show where that directory is, because there's some other directories there that might be interesting to you. So here I am, just users, CJ, app data, roaming, portalarium, Shroud the avatar. And we see these 4 things. Now this is the one that I would have expected my old books to be in, and they're not. So at some point it stopped writing there. Hidden files are shown, so it's not like it's a hidden file. I'm not sure what save game says, nothing. Sheet music. If you notice this date, 7/21, this got created when I was working on my first piece of sheet music. Sheet music is not exactly working right, but perhaps it's going to be there, and we could import from this directory. And again, when I say import, this is going to go back to Themo Lock's screenshot tutorial of this, which I will link, but it doesn't appear that we can import. But this is the directory that you'd want to navigate to import books if this again gets functioning or works right. What else? Chat logs. This is something very interesting to me. There's a guy that's done a mod now for the game, and it's got all these chat logs in here. And I'm guessing that might be where he's getting his data for guys have used some of like what was it, active or something like that. There's various ones that were in EQ, WoW, and all kinds of things. DPS meter and stuff like that. I'm not certain if that's where mods and stuff. That would be where to get it. My voice cuts out a little bit when I go to desktop if I don't keep the mouse moving, and I might have cut out a little bit, but what I was saying is maybe it's chat logs that he's using to parse to create the mods, and it's a pretty good mod. You can find it on the forums. I can't remember the guy's name. I'm sorry. I'll try to maybe post a link to that too. It might be useful for people. It looks like it's pretty well accepted, and it might very well be the very first mod ever created in the game. But one of the things I think it did do was DPS meters. That's important to some folks. Me, I'm like, if I didn't die, hey, it's all good, baby. Now, when I'm in a group, of course, I want to perform better and maybe have some way to measure how well I perform, but. Anyway, that's kind of out of the scope of this, but I just want to talk about where those locations were possibly at some point reprinting a book that you did. You wouldn't have to save it. Like I mostly save my stuff, in documents or whatever, rich text documents or Notepad or Notepad++ or whatever I feel like using, and that's how I'd reprint a book. But this was to be another option of reprinting books. So let's get down now actually to using the printing press, which the printing press is basically what it's allowing you to do is make copies. The basics of actually creating something is I'm going to hit inventory, blank book. Oops, double clicked it twice. Sorry about that. And this is where it had the import text. And this is where it's wanting me to choose where I could get this. And you can see it's going to see apps, data, roaming, portalarium, Shroud the avatar, custom books. And it's saying no books found. Now, I don't know why no books are found there. I'm not sure exactly what the deal with that is, but you should be able to import from there. I'm just going to hit cancel and hit write. And the first time you're doing a book, you're going to give it a title. The fonts are either runic or regular, so if you want to do one in runic, you most certainly can. But, probably you're just going to do it, give it a title. Title of my book. I'm going to hit continue. And you can see you have 8,000 characters that you can use. Everything takes a character. So if I'm writing and I'm hitting... where we at? There we go. Well, I guess I'm not writing. Hold on. There we go. I'm writing, so you can see the counter going up. I'm hitting carriage return line feeds. Those are taking characters too. Spaces take characters, so everything is taking a character, even if it looks like white space or a carriage return line feed. So keep that in mind. Sometimes you might have to squish things up to get everything in your book. If I hit publish, and what do we call this? Title of my book. Okay, publish. And now if I go to the Magic Printing Press, and we kind of covered this in the song, in the music thing, and talking about sheet music, but let's see, this is called title of my book. So if I drag that in here, and I look for blank books, blank book. I can throw some blank books in there. Well, maybe not that many because we're just demoing this. I don't want to use all my blank books up for nothing. Throw a few in. You can see the capacity is 3 of 15, so you can do, obviously you have to have the thing you're copying, so you can make 14 copies at a time. And I can hit craft, and now I have 3 of the same book. If I look at this book, you're going to see there it is. Just the stuff that we typed in the demo. I don't know if you noticed, I'm a big doofus, but when I was previewing what I previously shot just a minute ago, a tooltip did pop up right here that said, how to import text from a book. I thought that once I printed a book, that it went to that directory, but no, it's saying that if I put a file in that directory that we talked about, the apps roaming, Portalarium, and all that, and custom books, if you put a text file in that book, then you can import it. So all the books that I've done, I never save them in that directory. That's why I can't reprint them directly from the printing press. I'd have to open the rich text file or whatever I had, saved it in, and I could copy and paste it in that way. So that's so I guess it's basically two methods of doing that. Again, if you miss what I'm saying, go back to the previous screen where I'm actually writing in that book, and in the upper right hand corner you will see literally the game telling me what I should have done. I was so focused on the video and doing what I was done, I kind of missed that the game told me. So there we go, that question's answered now, and it was actually in a tooltip and stuff. Also, one quick thing to interject is how you get the Magic Printing Press. It is from a pledge reward, and not everybody's going to have one. You probably are going to have to locate either a POT or a guild that has one, or, obviously feel free to use the one in Diamond Fields on way out off of Exeter, accessible from Phoenix Republic, and mine's here, and you can use it. And I'm sure there's others, but here's one that, I'm just going to say here's one that you can use. So, of course, to do blank sheets of paper and multi-produce them, you do it the same way that we, showed on the printing press, making multiple copies. The difference is the container size. Obviously, a book has more letters that can be in it, and the page, less, of course. So condensed format. I think that pretty much covers everything on the printing press for now as far as how we can use it. I'm not seeing the formatting being available, and again, I will link that to if you want to see the codes and stuff that Themo Lock had identified. And I'm going to sign out. So, take care, be safe, and happy hunting, everybody.